back to the Neck for Adventure YouTube channel. My name is AJ. We've swapped gears a little bit to go towards ski season, but we're gonna backpedal a little bit to bike stuff. This year I partnered with Bikes Online, which is an online bike retailer, and I got to test out this really cool bike. It's called the Collosus N9, and it's just this really hefty, beefy bike that was perfect for what I was riding this summer. I did like an initial review at the beginning of the summer after a couple of rides on this bike, so I'll put that in the description below if you want to check that out. But this video is going to be more of a end of season review about this bike. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the bike, the specifications, the parts, things like that, and then get into more of the riding that I did this summer, why I liked the bike, why I didn't like the bike. And then I do have to send this back. This was just on a demo for the summer, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a clean and pack it up into a bike box to get it sent back to Bikes Online. The Polygon Collosus N9 is an aluminum frame bike that has 29-inch tires. Now this bike has pretty beefy suspension. It has a Fox 38 shock up front and then a Fox Flow X2 in the back, which makes it have 170 millimeters of travel. The drivetrain is composed of a Shimano XT derailleur as well as the SL 12-speed shifter. The brakes are the Code R from SRAM. The rims and hub are from Entity, and then the tires that come with it are the Schwalbe Magic Marys. So let's chat a little bit about the style of riding and the terrain that I use this bike for. Now this was definitely the summer of downhill. We had a local bike park open up, so we went there quite often. We did some shuttles, maybe some shorter pedals to mostly downhills. So overall, not a lot of uphill pedaling, but with that downhill riding, I was able to get a lot of varied terrain in there, quite a bit of flow and jumps, a little bit of tech. Also was able to take it down to Rome Fest, which is an all-women's mountain bike festival. Got some desert riding in, some new terrain, and honestly just had an overall blast just trying out this bike, seeing where it flourished, where it didn't, and overall I was really happy with where I rode, what I rode, and how I rode with this bike. So now let's get into a little bit about why I really like this bike, as well as some things that I did not like about it. So this bike was pretty awesome for what I rode this summer. This bike was really fun just because it was so sturdy. You know, with the 29-inch tires, as well as the weight of the bike, it just felt so solid, so sturdy, and I feel like as I progressed up to bigger jumps and bigger features and maybe harder, steeper lines, this bike definitely kept up with me a little bit more than my beginner bike. I actually had gone back to that bike for a mostly uphill ride that I was doing, and when I went back to that bike, it definitely felt a little bit squirrelier, possibly more maneuverable, what's the word? Maybe more responsive, but I think that on the bigger features that I was hitting on this bike, it was much better to have that like bigger, solid feel. Now that being said, I do think the one thing to note about this bike is that it is very heavy. And in my initial review, that was like the biggest thing that I was worried about. I don't know if it's just early season or this bike, but my legs are tired. This bike is heavy. Maybe because of that, I didn't do as much uphill. You know, this bike, I think online it says it's 17.8 kilograms, which amounts to 39.2 pounds. And that's without the pedals, and my clipless pedals definitely add, you know, another pound or two. So this thing was 40 pounds to haul up the hill. I do feel like the little uphill that I did do definitely amounted to my legs feeling really strong just because of the pure strength that it took to drive this uphill. Like I said, it kind of made up for it on the downhill, and it was always so worth it. And I would say that overall, this is an amazing bike park bike. I think it's a little bit more versatile than just a plain dual crown downhill fork, because you do have the ability to pedal it uphill. I would say that if the majority of riding that you're doing is downhill, this bike is pretty awesome. I will say one more negative thing, the Fox X2 shock is kind of notorious for going out pretty regularly, so as long as you know that you're going to have to service your fork at some point. Now, I was just loaning this bike for the summer, so I'm gonna give it a quick après bike season tune-up, and we're gonna get it packed up and shipped on its way. Now I gotta fit this back into this box. Another reason I like this bike is because of how easy it was to take off the front tire, just in case I needed to pack it anywhere, put it on a bike rack, put it in our car. This little quick lever is pretty nifty. Thanks so much to Bikes Online for partnering with me and letting me try out this bike for the summer. I'll throw a link in the description below if you want to check out more of the bikes on their website. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more fun outdoor and bike content coming this summer. Thanks so much for watching, and keep on crushing. Hey Mama. Also gotta get these clipless pedals off, which probably should have done before. I think I filmed me taking it out of the box so I could go back and do the exact reverse, but we'll see if that'll help.